Hey people, what's going on? I'm Eyebrow Puppet and welcome back to my drawing tutorials. If it's your first time to my channel, make sure you click subscribe. I've got hundreds of videos on there from sort of traditional to digital, so I'm sure you're going to love it. But if not, yeah, just enjoy the video. And here we go, people. This is how to draw an old school gentleman. So it's going to be a classic old school kind of tattoo of a man's face. You can have sort of like a nice moustache, nice hairstyle, maybe a few tattoos kind of thrown in there. So here we go. So to start off with, I'm facing a bit of an angle, so I'm going to do box shape. You've probably seen me do this one before now. It's just such a great technique, and I really sort of tried to do this quite a lot to really kind of get people's heads. It's such a great way of sort of laying out your faces. So you start off with this box shape. Divide it into four. So you've got line down the centre, line across here. When you get to the top here, you're going to curve from this top, cutting into this one. Once you get to about here, not quite halfway, bring a little line, and then kind of cut outwards. You kind of want maybe the line for the nose kind of cut through this centre point where these lines meet. It's going to curve down. Because he's man, I'm going to make his nose a little bit kind of sort of bent at the end, just there. Go a little kind of little dip. I'm going to curve this in, like so. I'm just going to gently curve here. It's going to be a moustache here, but I'm going to sort of curve inwards and curve out, just kind of sort of tell where his top lip would be. Create this little curve here. So this bottom lip's just poking a little bit past that line. Bring the line back, that's inside the box. I'm going to curve down. This can roughly sort of touch where that box is. Curve to the bottom. And just bring this line back like so. And you cut back into this box, quite a bit. And once you get to the box, it'll do like a sort of circle shape just here. So this sort of circle kind of, it's like half in, half out of these two circles. That's roughly where the ear is going to go. Just bring this line coming back, kind of curving from here. Curving around that back. And create a little curve here because that's where his neck's going to go. But yeah, it sort of gives you the rough sort of head shape. The hair's going to be elevated from that. But yeah, so we're going to get that, and now we're going to come in for the detail bits. So I'm going to bring this little line coming from here, pointing into where the little dent was. Another line just coming in, touching that section. And this one's going to kind of come through here, kind of curving as if it is pointing towards where that part of the nose is just there. Coming back front of the nose, just bring a line straight up. And where this line meets in this bit, just draw a little line down. And that's going to show you roughly where you want your eye. So this shape is going to give you a really good guideline of where you want that eye to be. Coming down from this nose, just a little bit here, I'm just going to curve this outwards. I'm going to create a little bit of nostril, almost kind of in line where that line is, just there. So it's giving you the basic kind of head shape here now. So now we've got done, I'm going to come into the face, a little bit more detail. So I'm going to come on this eye. So we're going to curve inwards, curve out a touch. We've got a pupil bit, I'm going to make this slightly curved, not too curved low. Coming down from this line, just got a little curve just there. Just coming up from this back line, just curving up, and just creating an upper eyelid. Just there like so. Inside the eye just here, I'm going to create a little curve, and then a little curve just inside that. So you're going to get the pupil. Coming from the top now, I'm going to come a little bit in front of that eye. Bring this back. And curve down. Because he's man, I want it kind of sort of angular. I'm going to make it a little bit kind of rugged as well. It's not going to be like perfectly smooth at the top. So it's going to come around the eye, kind of like so. So you want it kind of sort of block sort of shape. You can bring it down a little bit further, depending on kind of expression you kind of want. But it's a great way of doing it. Coming off the nose by here, now I'm going to create that moustache. This is going to curve around. It's going to cut in through that top lip. So it's going to curve back. It's going to curve out like this. And this is going to curve back like so. Just like that. You've probably seen me do it quite a few times, and I love doing this sort of one. It's one of my favourite ones to draw. And it's been a while since I've done one of these ones on paper, so it's giving you guys a nice fresh perspective on it. So you've got the moustache in here, you've got the bottom lip, you've got the jaw. Coming down from where this sort of nose bit is here, sort of create this curve coming down. And this is going to give us a hint of where we want the neck to start. So the neck's going to start here. So we're going to create this little curve coming down, and that's where the neck's going to be. Coming back up to the top of the head now, so where this kind of line meets here, I'm going to use this as a sort of guide just to start the hairline. Going to bring this in like so, curve that up, and from there I'm going to bring this line coming backwards through the hair, create this line kind of sort of side parting, sort of coming up, and this is going to curve to the front, and then we're going to have a hairstyle coming off of this. So for this hairstyle, I want a nice kind of sort of like, cool kind of retro sort of gentleman kind of hairstyle, so I'm going to create this curve at the front, so I'm going to create this curve like this, it's going to curve back. We're going to have a few curves like here. So you've got this kind of bit here that's going to be kind of elevated and raised. And it's going to come back here. And these are all kind of come almost to that point. And make sure it's going a bit higher than what the head is. You don't want it to be lower than the head. So we've got this headline here. Make sure this sits above it. Now, because the hair is going to be obviously above the hair. Above the head rather. And if it's not, it's just going to kind of like ruin it. It's not going to look right. And on this bottom part here now, I'm going to create these kind of curve shapes coming down. Like so. Once we've got that done, we're going to come down to the ear. So we're going to curve around this ear. Create a little dip just here at the bottom, bump into it, create a curve around. Create a little line inside it. I'm going to create a little bump, a little curve at the bottom just there. Curve it around, just create a little curve, come back into the ear. Now you can really kind of personalise this kind of shape inside the ear, you know, feel free to kind of play around with that. And once I've got this done, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to give him a bit of an old school Jeremy suit. So it's going to be a bit sort of like a, I suppose like a bit of a Peaky Blinders kind of vibe to it. So I want him to have collar from his shirt, hint of his blazer. So you've got the collar, it's going to be like a rectangle shape. The blazer is going to cut through that. I'm going to come down, create this line, cut down through that, bring another line through there, come across like so. So you're kind of creating that sort of triangle shape at the bottom there. It's going to have like his tie, so you're going to get a sort of circular shape. And then two lines coming down, just kind of show where that is. And that can kind of go in there. Once you've got this done, we can go into pen. So I'm just going to use a Sharpie for this. Good old classic nice pen. You know, and I'm using Bristol board, it's a really nice kind of paper. So we're going to go over everything we've just done now using this. So let's get everything nice and smooth and get everything where it's supposed to be. So get a little bump on the tip of the nose. Get that nostril in there. Get this line for this moustache in here. A little hint of the upper lip. Bottom lip. Curve for the chin. Now I'm going to bring this line up. Across for the eye. Line for the upper eyelid. Two curves for the eye. Then line just there. Bottom eyelids. Remember that little circle on the inside just for the pupil? So you're going to make a little sort of dark circle just on the inside part, just there. Bring this line in for the eyebrow. I'm going to make it a little bit jaggedy just at the top there, just so it's got a bit of kind of character to it. And I'm going to black that in, so it's nice and bold. So you've got his upper eyelid, eyebrow on there. Now I'm going to bring this line just here. Tail the jaw. You can cut this off early, you can sort of cut this line and leave it here if you want. I prefer to sort of join it up, but it's one of those things you can do. It will really kind of sort of like generally tell the story of the kind of character of what he's like, you know. It's all these little lines, you know, sort of making me like appear strong, appear like caring, kind, you know, like nasty. You know, by adjusting certain things, kind of posing the mouth, the angle of the eyebrow, how far the neck comes in, the hairstyle. Now, these are all like really important features. You know, each one's a bit more important than what people sometimes give them credit for. This line here. Bring this line to there. I'm going to curve this line up like this. This line outwards. Put that line there. I'd like to make sure one thing just comes a little bit in front of what that headline is, just there. Just makes it look really cool. You know, I find it just kind of bugs me if I don't have that one little bit of a line just there. Keep bringing these lines across until you kind of got roughly the right kind of shape. Now I'm liking how that's looking. And now what I'm going to do is just bring these little curved lines just down. I'm not going to bring them too far. You know, we just want like a hint of hair, and it's going to go into a nice kind of fade as it comes down. I'm not going to do this hairline here, I'm going to do this with a thinner pen. And it's going to make it quite nice to have two different kind of line weights. Now I always play around with how I sort of do my blazer, you know, you can have the line going in front, going through, a little kind of sort of pattern in there. Now I'm going to do this like nice simple kind of one that's going to really stand out nice and strong. Just like that. So where we've got this tie, I'm going to create this little curve just there of that circle we've done. Just line there. Let that sort of tie into that bit. Come down here. Curve those up. This angle, you know, you're not going to see too much of the other side. You know, you can do if you want. You can do a little line here, but I don't think I'm going to because it's a bit too much to the side angle for that, in my opinion. But it's a little touch you can do if you want. So now we've got that done. That's pretty much all the bold outline done. So I'm going to come in. I'm just going to rub out everything we've just done. So all that pencil's gone. Make sure you give your pen enough time to dry. Sharpies tend to dry pretty quick on this paper, so I can do this straight away. But if you're using certain kind of pens, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Now, I say give a few little test runs just before you do it. But yeah, so I'm going to rub that out. Just make sure that's all gone. I like to use a putty rubber, but feel free to use any kind of rubber. They all do the same sort of trick. I don't know, I've always used a putty rubber, regardless of what I do. I just like them. So now we've got that done in there. I'm going to get a Unipin fine liner. I'm going to get this. It's going to be 0.8. So turn it around that way. 0.8 Unipin fine liner. So I'm going to come in now and do a few little details. It's going to be the same size, but I'm going to use my other one because I know my ink's a bit low in that one. So what I'm going to do is come up here now in the hair. I'm going to bring up this little line just coming down through each one of these bits. Just like so. And the ones that are slightly wider, I'm going to add a few more. So I'm going to follow that top hairline we just done there. Just going to come across. And underneath. Come across. And just keep building these up one by one until you kind of run out of room. Don't overcrowd it, so try and keep about the same kind of space between them. And then that nice kind of smooth motion going across. You know, you want to follow the hairline, the hair shape, you know, don't really go against it. Personally, I just feel like it can easily ruin an image if you kind of go against the hair shape. So again, I'm just cutting through here. And when I've got that, I'm going to get using this pen. I'm going to use that hair, put that hair short shape in now. So I'm going to bring this little line around the ear. Come down to about there. Bring this line across. Curve that line up to here. Come past a little bit. And I might just put a few little flick lines, just kind of telling me I'm going to put some shade off the edge. Come down here, it's going to curve around, it's going to come down, connect up to the back of the head just there. I'm going to do a similar thing now on the moustache. I'm going to bring these lines across. I'm doing this kind of curve motion, so we're going to curve from the bottom and curve around the top. Just like so. Real simple, but really effective. I might put a little line just in the blazer, just there. Maybe a little line just underneath the tie bit, just there. And just for a little extra detail, I might just do this little kind of stitch in. I really like this little stitching effect, it just looks really cool. You basically just little lines, you're just basically just drawing a straight line, but in little kind of little line dots, little dashes. Real simple, just like that. So now we've got this done. This is all the line work done. So now we're going to go into our shading. I'm going to use Winsor & Newton brush markers for this. I'm going to be doing it in black and white, so I'm going to use these ones. I'm going to use the cold grey tones. They look like this, Winsor & Newton brush markers. And then I'm going to be using ones from CG1 up to CG4. It's going to be that one up to, focus on that, up to that one. So start with obviously the XL black. I'm going to fade down from them. You know, you can use different kind of markers. Copic's really good, Chameleon pen's really good. There are other ones out there, other kind of brands. I just generally like to make sure they're alcohol based, really, and they got a brush tip. That's pretty much the only kind of requirement I really have for them. So now I've got this done, I'm going to come in. The first thing I'm going to do maybe is do the hair. So I'm going to come and bring this black across like so. And all the shading, I'm going to sort of try and do most of it when I can in this side motion. It just makes it much easier. So we're going to put black in there first. And come in with your darkest one. So this one's like the CG4, so it's basically my darkest grey shade. You know, you can do this on paper, like, you know, with pencils, with water paints. And just go side to side until you see it start to blur. Once it starts to blur, just leave it and let it do its magic. You know, don't overwork it too much. And just go down for a few of your shades until you get to the bottom part. I'm going to hit it with black just across this line just here. And this black will kind of fade out from the bottom down there. It's just going to show the edge of the hair, just as it comes and joins. So I'm just going to go over the top part of that. with the grey. And across that bottom part just here with the grey as well. Come in with my lighter tone. Again, just put that across just like that, so you've got that nice fade. And just work down 3 fades going down this section. So I'm going to go from the 3 into the 2 into the 1, and the 1's pretty much going to fade to nothing. Just going to bring that down just to the edge of it. Now we're putting a little bit of shade, maybe just across the back here and other areas, but it's going to sort of do the trick. And once you look at it, just kind of look at it and just kind of feel if it needs anything more in there. So I'm looking at it, I think I'm just going to put a little bit more kind of grey, just to make that transition a little bit more, just across there. And then come down to my CG2 and just blend that out a touch. You know, it's a good thing on markers, you know, when you sort of just let them dry, then you can kind of overlay them and you can kind of blend them out. You can kind of keep that blend going very easily. You know, it's just important to let each one kind of dry before you keep layering it up, because, you know, I said, you know, it's still sort of drying, so as it dries, it will go lighter. And obviously, if you keep applying black to that or your darker colours, you're going to kind of like overwork the paper. Especially if you're using printer paper, you know, it's very, very easy to overwork printer paper. You know, I'll probably say in most of my videos, I really do not recommend using printer paper for drawing. Just get something like this, you know, it's Bristol board, you can get it on Amazon anywhere. It's not expensive. You know, obviously it's a little bit more pricey than what printer paper is, but, you know, what you're paying per one, you know, it's not going to be much, and it's just really worth the investment, because it's just so much more nicer to work with. So it's going to branch out that black a little bit wider, I think, actually. Just another little layer just there. And just keep coming through your pens now, just get that nice kind of shine going the whole way through it. You can do these individually, like each little kind of hair section, but for this I like to get like a nice even tone the whole way through it, so I'm going to get this nice highlight going throughout the whole of the hair. Just there. So we've got that nice kind of highlight going through there. Also want to just darken up this bottom bit just a touch now. And it's dried, I can see I want to bring that through just a tiny bit more. There we go. Now I'm happy with that bit. And now we've done that bit, I'm going to go off to the other sections now. So I'm going to start off with the eye. So I'm going to get this little bit of pure black. Not much of it, just a little bit. Just kind of come in here, flicking down a touch, and a little bit just over that top part of the eyelid, just there. And then I'm going to fade down towards the nostril kind of area, and fading down behind this eye bit just here. So I'm going to come in with this dark grey just across that bottom section just there, and just start that transition coming down. Once I've done that, again, it's going to go into my other grey, just go one by one going lighter. Just flick that one in there. Number 2, and use that number 1 to kind of bring it out right to the edge, just like that. So you've got a nice long section there. I want a little bit of shadow just underneath his eye. Sometimes I use the black, sometimes I go just to the grey, so I'm going to put grey just top up this eyelid, just underneath the eye. I'm getting this kind of grey tone just here. I'm working out, I like this little kind of just shadow just underneath the eye, especially in this kind of situation where I'm using black and white. And if I'm using black and white, I tend to do my shading differently to what I would with colour. You know, it's a very different approach. You know, what I might do a video where I do it at a time, both in black and white and in colour, to sort of show you the different kind of approach I would take in either situation. Got this little curve just here, just around where that cheekbone would be. Just nice and subtle. Bottom part of the nose just here. I'm going to create this little shadow just underneath the bottom part of the nose, just there. I'm going to come in with the CG4 on this bit. Just get a little shadow just underneath the nose bit, just there. It just kind of tells the curve without going too realistic. Once I've got that done, I'm just going to get this black on the top part of the moustache, and the bottom part just there. And then again, just kind of blend it over the edge. Just until you see it start to blend, and then just leave it and let it do its trick. So now, I'm holding too many pins in my hand. I always do this. So I'm going to get this little shadow just underneath this chin, just here. Just blend this out to nothing. Just like so. Then I'm going to come underneath the chin. So get this little strip just coming here. Just bring this line just underneath this chin. And just go through your shades one by one. Just bring it up. You don't want to bring it up too high. Just enough where you can kind of get a nice gradient, but not too much. Now most of these marker pens have a blender tool. I don't really tend to use the blender too much. I just use the tones to kind of get the sort of shades I want. But feel free to use that if you want. I'm going to get this shadow underneath this neck. So I'm going to put some grey there. A tiny bit of black just in the corner. Just there. And blend that grey into it. You can fade this, but I like this to have a nice kind of hard line for that particular shadow. And then here in the back, I'm going to have a little bit of grey tone just on the back of the neck and the front of the neck. So very similar to how we've done that sort of jaw. Just bring these shades out, not too far, just enough where you can kind of bring a layer of gradient to each one. Like so. And I'm going to start coming to the face a little bit now. I want to get a little bit of shadow behind his ear, and a little bit on his cheekbone, and a little bit in the top part of his head. So I'm going to start off in the ear. So this inner ear section, I want to be fairly dark, so I'm going to come in with a dark tone. A little shadow just underneath the ear, just there. And a little bit of shadow just inside this line, just there. So now I'm just going to blend those bits out. I don't want to blend out the shadow underneath the ear too much because it's a bit of a shadow drop, so just leave that one very fine, fine and thin. So now we've got that done, I'm going to come into the face sections now. So I'm going to come from his forehead to begin with. And this kind of shadow coming here. And a bit of a shadow just here. And using a light tone, I'm going to bring a touch up just from the top part of the eyebrow, just there. Very soft transitions though, so I'm just going to go in from the lightest two. Just let them dry and let them do them tricks. Once that's done, I'm going to come down to this blazer now. This blazer is going to be quite heavy with the black. Come across with that. Here, one coming across there, coming into the 3, and I'll probably join it up with the 2. Now I want it to stay fairly dark, I don't want to have too much of a light gap in between it, so just join it up. I'm going to pretty much the same sort of thing on the bottom part here now, so now you can go different directions. I like to let the highlight in this direction, so the only area I'm pretty much going to kind of miss a little bit, maybe a little bit just here. I'm going to come in with this grey tone again. Just start with that dark grey. Like I said, just work over it until you see it start to blend. Once it starts to blend, just kind of leave it and let it do what it does. And then just go over the whole thing on number 2. Just like that. So it's all coming together really nicely now. I'm really liking how it's looking. So I'm going to add a little few shades. I'm going to put a little shadow just here underneath this collar. Flick a little bit just in from here. A little bit just in from that back. A little bit under here and a little bit just on the tie. Just coming from the top and the bottom, so you've got this highlight kind of coming down it. You know, you kind of want to work with the shape of it, so don't really try to go against it. And when I say the shape, I sort of mean like, you know, like the tie sort of like generally comes down, so you want a highlight coming down it. Keep flicking these bits just in here, just like so. And now I've got it done, I really like how that's looking, so now I'm just going to add some little sort of tattoos in here. So I'm going to get me a pencil to begin with. I might just add a little shade just coming off this part of the hair, just a little bit just in that part and just there. So I'm going to get my pencil now, I'm just going to sketch in roughly where I want some tattoos. Nothing too kind of crazy. I'll get a little one just above the eyebrow I think, so I might put in some gentlemen, so let's go. Nice squirrely script. Yeah, I might put the word class above his eyebrow. And have a little tattoo just on his neck. Whenever I do these gentlemen's ones, I always tend to do like a rose, which I think just kind of works with the concept. So I'm going to put in a bit of an old school rose. So you've got this little kind of overlap just here. I've got full tutorials on roses, so if you sort of like struggle with roses, you know, check out my other tutorials. And I've got loads on there how to draw those. And I'll try and, if I remember, I'll sort of try and put the link at the end of one of these videos. So if at the end of the video you want to sort of see, just check it out. Just going to add that there. And when I do my, I usually do an X on my females, and my males I usually do a little to 13 just on the cheek. Like so. So now I've got it done, I'm going to grab me pen and just kind of put it in there so it's nice and permanent. You know, it's a tattoo, it's got to be permanent, I can't leave it in there pencil. It'd be sacrilegious. So just keep going over the top of that, just get it nice and neat. And definitely do it with a thinner pen, you don't want to do it with a big thick one. Just looks much better with a thinner pen. Now sometimes it looks nice, if you're doing it, if I was doing it in colour, I'd usually do it say in blue. You know, it looks sometimes nice to do it like a grey tone as well, where it looks a little bit faded. So it kind of looks like a bit of a tattoo that way. For this one now I'm going to go nice and bold. I want this tattoo to stand out. We just pretend it's a nice fresh tattoo. Just so it kind of fits in that gap quite nicely. And then do a little 13 on her face. And do. Forgive me for this, my script isn't the best. Especially when I'm just quickly freehanding it like this. Class. Grab your rubber, just rub out pencil work. Just be careful because obviously Unipin liner takes a tiny bit longer than what Sharpie does, so just make sure you get enough time to dry. I'm being a little bit quick with this, I'm hoping I don't smudge it. If I just dab it, it should do the trick. And once you've got that done, I'm just going to add a little bit shadow just in the eye, just there. I might add a little flower just on the back. I think this, I've done one years ago, they got really popular, and I think I've done it on that as well. So it's quite nice, the fact that I'm kind of like doing a new take on my older one. So let's go a little circle just here, a little secondary circle, do a little line between it, and just across that top, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just a little leaf bit just off the edge. So let's put that in there, shall we? Just for old time's sake. Like that. Like that. Like that, and I might put just that little extra one just there. I'll put a second one. I always like to have it sort of come into that second sort of shape. And then for this, I'm just going to get a rubber. How about the pencil work? I'm going to have around the inside, just leaving a little white highlight. Don't know why I love doing these kind of grey flowers. Leaving a little white edge. And then a little bit of black and into the grey in the leaf. So, a little chunk of black just on across that bottom part. Just like so. Get your grey. Just work over it. And then go down to your slightly lighter one and just fill in the section. Just like that. And I hope you like that, people. You can do more, you can add sort of other stuff on here. Sometimes I'd sort of do like a bit of sort of sun thing on here, sort of shade around it, but I like how that looks. I think that does a trick. I don't add too much more than that. So yeah, people, that's how you draw an old school gentleman. Well, I say old school style. He's got tattoos, so he's a bit more modern, but yeah. Take away the tattoos as old school. You know what I mean? But yeah, for now, people, I'm the Broken Puppet. And like I said, you know, if you can, drop the video a like, it's really appreciated. And if it's your first time to my channel, make sure you click subscribe. I have hundreds of videos on here, you know, tutorials from traditional to digital, covering all aspects of kind of sort of tattoo kind of art. So yeah, feel free to do that. And if you post on social media, you know, if you do my sort of tutorial and you post on social media, make sure you tag me in it. I love seeing what you guys do. You know, so don't be afraid to do that. You know, I quite often comment on it as well, so you might get a comment from me. But for now, people, I'm the Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace.